The topic we're about to discuss is all about the NIPAS Law and Convention on Biodiversity. First of all, what is NIPAS Law? NIPAS Law, or the Republic Act 7568, is also known as National Integrated Protected Area System Act of 1992. Now, what are the areas within the scope of NIPAS Law? NIPAS Law shall encompass outstanding remarkable areas and biologically important public lands that are habitats or rare and endangered species of plants and animals, biogeographic zones and related ecosystem whether terrestrial, wetlands, or marine, all of which are designated as protected areas. Aside of NIPAS Act of 1992, we have protected areas and sustainable development. Protected areas are provides the legal and developmental framework for the establishment and management of protected areas in the Philippines. And sustainable development, it has a vital role in implementing one of the top 10 major approaches of the Philippine strategies for the sustainable development. NIPAS is the classification and administration of all designated protected areas. First, maintain essential ecological processes and life support system. Second, preserve genetic diversity. Third, ensure sustainable use of resources found therein. Fourth, maintain their natural conditions to the greatest extent possible. After 25 years, Republic Act 7568 or NIPAS Act was established in 1992. But in 1995, there was an issue of Executive Order 263 adopting community-based forestry management as a national strategy. In 1995, the Constitution now wants the community to engage in adopting the forestry management. But in 1997, the Republic Act 8371 or the Indigenous People Rights Act claimed that NIPAS Act designated protected areas overlap with the ancestral domain claims of indigenous peoples recognized under the IPRA. The issue of the legality of traditional forest utilization vis-a-vis the general prohibition on the use of forest resources without permits. These are the 10 classifications of protected areas covered by the NIPAS Act. First is the National Park. According to Section 3, Article 7 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, lands of public domain are classified into 4 categories: agricultural, forest or timber, mineral lands, and national parks. Refers to the lands of the public domain classified in the Constitution, which includes all areas under the NIPAS, pursuant to this NIPAS Act, primarily designated for the conservation of the native plants and animals, their associated habitats and cultural diversity. These are the examples of National Park: Mount Arayat, MacArthur Landing, and Underground River of Palawan. Second is the natural biotic areas. Refers to an area set aside to allow the way of life of societies living in harmony with the environment to adapt the modern technology at their pace. Example of natural biotic areas is Bazalan. Third is natural monument. Refers to a relatively small area focused on the protection of small features to protect or preserve nationally significant natural features on account of their special interest or unique characteristics. Example of natural monument is Chocolate Hills in Bohol. Fourth, natural park refers to a relatively large area not materially altered by human activity, where extractive resource uses are not allowed and is maintained to protect outstanding natural and scenic area of national or international significance for scientific, educational, and recreational use. These are the example of natural park: Mount Apu and Mayon volcano. Fifth, protected landscapes and seascapes refers to areas of national significance which are characterized by the harmonious interaction of man and land and water while providing opportunities for the public enjoyment through recreation, tourism, and other economic activities. The example of protected landscapes and seascapes are Apu Island and Rizal Park and Shrine. 6. Resource reserve refers to an extensive, relatively isolated, and inhabited area which is difficult to access and is designated to protect natural resources of the area for future use and prevent or contain development activities that could affect the resources, pending establishment of sustainable resource utilization goals which are based upon appropriate information and planning. The example of resource reserve is Agno River. 7. Strict natural reserve refers to an area possessing some outstanding ecosystem, features, and species of flora and fauna of national scientific importance that should be maintained to protect and preserve nature in its undisturbed state and to preserve ecologically representative examples of natural environment to ensure their availability for scientific study, environmental monitoring, education, and for maintenance of genetic resources in a dynamic and voluntary state. Example of strict natural reserve is Kalawit Safari in Palawan. 8. Wildlife sanctuary refers to an area which assures the natural conditions necessary to protect nationally significant species, groups of species, biotic communities, or physical features of the environment, which may require human manipulation for their perpetuation. Example of wildlife sanctuary are Mount Katinglad Ridge and Mount Hamigitan in Davao. 9. Wetlands refer to a wide variety of inland habitats such as marshes, wetlands, floodplains, rivers, and lakes, and coastal areas such as salt marshes, mangroves, intertidal mudflats, and seagrass beds, and also coral reefs and other marine areas no deeper than 6 meters at low tide, as well as human-made wetlands such as dams, reservoirs, rice paddies, and wastewater treatment ponds and lagoons. Example of wetlands is Las Peñas Parañaque Critical Habitat and Ecotourism Area. 10. Other categories by law or convention or international agreements. Examples are El Nido, Paloy Island, and Angat Dam River. And now, we're going to discuss our next topic, which is about the Convention on Biological Diversity. What is the CBD, or the Convention on Biological Diversity, is all about? The Convention on Biological Diversity, known informally as the Biodiversity Convention, is a multilateral treaty. The convention has three main goals: the conservation of biological diversity, the sustainable use of its components, and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. Its objective is to develop national strategies for the conservation and sustainable use of biological diversity, and it is often seen as the key document regarding sustainable development. Now, what are the pros and cons of CBD? The pros of CBD are the following. First, broadness of scope keeps A adaptive for further, more concrete guidelines and country area specific applications. Second, under the roof of the CBD, the member parties could, in a similar way as with the reduction of emissions triggered by the Kyoto Protocol, commit themselves in a more determined way. Third, the CBD can provide a necessary comprehensive body to develop a global knowledge pool and a database where two regional, national, and local groups contribute to research, implementation, and monitoring experiences. Now, these are the cons of the CBD. First, 12 principles as loose conglomerate without structure or logical order, therefore not practical as application tool. Second, no incentives for national institutions to comply with COP decisions. Lack of commitment in applying national strategies or action plans. Third, no financial support for the industrialized countries developing or transitional countries can request financial support from the GAF. Fourth, still gaps in important thematic areas such as waste management, population development, water and air purity. Fifth, institutional bureaucracy within the CBD. What are the achievements of CBD? The main achievements of CBD are the following. First, continuous advancement of 12 principles through additional guidelines that can be translated into practical action. Second, initiation of national action plans in 130 countries. Third, raising of awareness about biodiversity. Fourth, adoption of Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety as international regulatory framework for the safety transfer, handling and use of living organisms resulting from modern biotechnology. That's all for our topic discussion pertaining the NIPAS Law and Convention on Biodiversity. Thank you for your time and have a good day.